I think it's time. I think it's time to like get the girls jumping, get the live stream going. Let me turn my phone on. Well, let me turn it off first of all. But I want to make sure that like the girls can hear me. Like the girl, like, can y'all hear me good? I don't know if anyone's on the stream yet, but like, I'm hoping y'all can hear me good. Um, oh, I hear the phone. It's a little low. Uh oh. Oh. Um. Let's turn it up. Let's turn it up. Turn it to 150 and pray for the best. Let me pray for the best of the sounds. Cue. Otherwise, this stream's a disaster. It sound okay from what I'm hearing. Um, I'm gonna like make sure that the stream setup is good. We gonna hop in. I hope the girls are doing good. I hope the girls are doing great. I hope the bakers, my bakers, I hope y'all is doing good today because this is gonna be the first episode of Cake Radio Live. I'm so excited to like do live streams for this. This is not my first time doing a live stream. This is my first time. Well, okay. Ooh, sound it out. This is not my first time doing a live stream. Period. For those who know, like I'm the CakeDive. I am a content creator. I do have multiple channels. I have the CakeDive channel on YouTube. I also have Cake Radio, and of course, I had the ZC and Ticket channel as well. And I've done live streams for ZC and Ticket and the CakeDive channel, but I've never done one for Cake Radio. When I did it for ZC and Ticket, it was back when Shriek came out, one of my short films, and I did like a little like a cute little streaming night to promote the film. And then on the CakeDive channel, I did a few like gaming live streams. But one of the things that I've been wanting to do for a minute was do like live streams for Cake Radio and the Cake Radio show because the girls love Cake Radio, and I feel like with live streams, there's a big audience that could be introduced to the Cake Radio show that has never been introduced to the Cake Radio show before. And it's taken a little bit to get the idea cooking, but now we're here with Cake Radio Live and Cake Radio's office hours. So I am gonna obviously like for those who've tuned into the Cake Radio show before, hello my bakers, thank you for joining the stream. I should also mention that this is gonna be like the first time that I do streams with YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Very exciting stuff there. Um, I finally was able to get the code cracked on that, and I'm excited to like really just be with y'all guys for a little bit, hopefully an hour or two. Um, talk about some pop culture, talk about some hot topics. You know, where the Wendy Williams talk. What's how you doing? Let's talk about some hot topics, and really just dig into the tea. If you guys like the stream, share the stream with your friends, with your family, with your mama, your baby mama. Um, share it with share it with the girls. Like, and then if you follow it on any of the platforms, be sure to subscribe. You could do like I know with like YouTube, you could do like the super chats and all that type of stuff. Something really cute. Um, and just share it around. Like, I'm excited to dig into this. We have a lot of topics to dig into, as you probably could read by the title. We talking about Nicki Minaj versus Psychosis. I know on Twitch I call it Nicki Minaj versus everybody. Um, but we're talking about Nicki Minaj and the wave of tweets that she posted against Megan Thee Stallion, Jay Z, all them girls. Um, we will also be talking about Jay Versace's like weird tweet that has been going around. I also want to talk about Tyler's new song, Is It? Talk about some music because it is New Music Friday. I think it's a perfect storm that I got to do this on a Friday when new music is dropped because y'all know me, I love to talk about music, and we got some other like random like pop culture things that we can talk about. If you guys want me to talk about a particular topic, be sure to let me know in the chat below. Um, and ooh, heads up though, your mic is a little quiet. Bye, I just turned it up. I'm scared that like if I turn it up, hold on, wait. First of all, let me make sure that this is connected to the right mic. Okay, it's connected to like my wireless mic, which is good. But I also need to figure out um like what's the word? I need to make sure the sound is cute. Cause if I turn it up too damn loud, then y'all about to be like, what is going on? Um I just bumped it up to 200%. Let me know if that's cute. Let me know if it's a little bit louder compared to last time. But hi, I'm seeing I'm seeing people pop into the chat. Oh my gosh, like this is so cute. I'm so excited. Like I'm ecstatic over the moon to just be streaming. It's been a while since I've done streams. And I've been wanting to do streams more frequently. But one, it's really just been my schedule. Okay, we're good. Okay, good. Perfect. I've been wanting to do streams for a minute. My schedule hasn't been allowing it, and I've also been really busy this summer. Um, let's get some updates. Like, what's going on with me? You know, like this summer is my first summer with a degree, guys. I have my associates in business. Hot girl degree. Like, I'm so happy to get that. And I will be continuing on to get my bachelor's and master's soon. I'm really excited about that. But since I graduated and things are moving along, I am just out in the streets this summer, y'all. Like I have to start soon, Serene. Let me switch over to my like setup. Let me know what y'all think about the setup. Is it cute? It's just something I threw together. While the new changes for the Cake Radio show's coming, and I hope it's cute. I hope y'all like it. But no, like this summer has been real cute for me. I have been, you know, out with my friends, my homegirls, my very close friend group that I've known since high school. We all back together, and it's the first time that we've been together since like right before we went off to college. So it's all like really exciting. Um, I've been out traveling. I've been out visiting friends, meeting some creators too. I finally bumped into Genie Box. I finally bumped into Pink Poppy recently. My faves. Um, Jeannie's my bestie though. Shout out to Jeannie if she's tuning in. Um, and then outside of that, like I've been traveling, doing the cute little stuff. Y'all know I love to travel. Where to do a leap, I'll be traveling. But that's not the point of the stream. The point of the stream is to talk about this pop culture. Cause y'all know if y'all tune into the Cake Radio Show, y'all know I like king of pop culture here. Like I be talking about pop culture. So what we gonna start with is oops shit. I'm knocking shit off of my fucking desk. Y'all time to go. But no, I want to talk about Tyler's new song, Is It? Tyler has been teasing this song for a good couple of weeks. It's been a minute actually. Like she's been teasing this song for a while. And she did like a bigger tease and announcement of it at the what was it, the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards. And she was like, ooh, like I don't want to be, I just want a little drizzle. Like that's that's how she be doing. She like a little drizzle with the slime at Nick. And she teased the song Is It. The song was cute. The snippet was cute. She was supposed to release it like I think last week. Didn't come out last week. She's like, so about last week. So about this Friday. And she pushed it back to this week. And the song has dropped. Y'all, this song in the music video, oh, oh, my Tiger card. Like, I obviously I'm not gonna play too much because copyright reasons. But let me play the like intro. Like, whoa, like just for not like whoa. Like listen, Tyler is my girl. I love a good Tyler song. Her debut album was a good debut album. I'm kind of upset that I didn't get to review it for you guys for the podcast. And I also like the deluxe. That Shake song that she did, I can't say the full title because they're gonna get me. But that song that's been on my song playlist. That's been on my playlist, y'all. I love the song. And this song, oh, I'm ready. Tyler dropped the second album. We ready, sister. It's time. Like I recommend if you guys have a chance to listen to the song after this episode. Well, I'm about to say this episode because I'm so used to doing pre-record episodes. This is gonna take some time to adjust, but I hope you guys enjoy. Um, the when I wanted to record this podcast, after you guys get a minute to like tune into the stream, tune into the song. Like I recommend that y'all tune into the song. It's out now on your streaming platforms. I'm not me doing promo, but that was my quick little like intro. I really like the song. I think people should check out the song. I also have tuned into Clips's new album, um, that dropped this week. I said dropped this week. It came out today, essentially. But I tuned in because I'm an Apple Music subscriber. I got to tune into the live stream that they hosted with Ebro, where they basically previewed and allowed us to listen to that album an hour before release. And word to Nicki Minaj. Well, I was about to say word to Nicki Minaj because of Coke, but Powder Rap is back, and Clips is bringing it back, positively. And it's been a good album. I've been liking it. First impressions, I'm really enjoying the album. I do have some favorites. I love the song POV with Tyler the Creator. I also like So Be It. I'm kind of shocked that they changed the like sound of So Be It compared to the original version that released in the music video. I like that like Arabic sound that the original had, but the version we got on streaming is cute still. Um, the like acronym songs like Ebida is really good as well. Like I'm just really liking the album. I might do a recorded review of the album like later down the line once I let it sit because I'm not gonna just shoot out the review. Like you need some time to sit with the album, let it do some prep work, like before you do a review. Um, but I have been liking the Clips album. It's been a cute little week for well, sort of, kind of. I was about to say it's been a cute week for music, but not really, because Justin Bieber also dropped an album. We gonna talk about this. So Swag came out. Swag came out. Justin Bieber dropped his seventh studio album, Swag, and I'm confused. I'm so confused. So it's like 20 some tracks, 21 tracks. Um, as you can tell by the features, we so confused because like there is Gunna, Drewski, Dijon, Little B. Drewski's on it again. Sexy Red's on it. Drewski's on it a second time. Well, a third time. I can count. Welcome here. Let me sound it out. Third time. Cash Cobain and Eddie Benjamin. And then Marvin Winans is on it. And this was surprise released because like Billboard started popping up with Justin Bieber and Haley. What's her face? Is it Haley Bieber? The wife? Who's the wife? I don't be in white people business too often. Um, but they was posed up with the title Swag, and then they just announced the like track list with the artwork and oh baby, I'm not hungry. Like oh I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. Um, the I've heard a snippet or two. Yes, one of the snippets I heard was the Drewski one, and this is strange because why is Drewski on one of the tracks being like, "Oh, you sound kind of black on this," and Justin saying thank you. Hello, we're going back, and it's like really bad. Um, let's see. But yeah, like he dropped the album. I'm not listening to the album. If y'all want me to listen to the album, Y'all let me know, but I don't intend on doing it. You're not getting a review from me. Um, what's next? Oh, I think it's Jay Versace next. I'm like running through this a little bit. I'm running through the smaller topics first because it's like hot topics. But I will. I think the longest thing that I will be talking about here is going to be the um the Nicki Minaj stuff because I think that there's a lot more meat to that, and I have a lot of for that. And that might be the part that gets me in trouble because I know Barb's be in the comments. The ops is out. Uh oh. But no. We'll see what happens. If the Barbs have issues with what I say later on, talk to my lawyer. I do have two. Um, but yeah. Um, Jay Versace. So Jay Versace. For those who don't know who Jay Versace is, I'm like running through this. Let me start. Let me just do what I be doing with the podcast, right? Because it's the live version of the podcast. Jay Versace, who a lot of people know from Vine. He was very popular off of Vine, and what he kind of made a very interesting transition for a lot of people because he went from Vine to music. He's a music producer now, and he's made some pretty good songs. I've heard some of the songs that he's produced, and he's had some pretty high profile productions before. He's a pretty good producer, and when it comes to like his like internet, his digital footprint is the word. He is fairly low key in terms of like what he be saying online up until now, because now he in trouble because he on a deleted tweet, as you can tell. Speaking of tweets, if y'all have Twitter, may you please spare a follow at the CakeDive. You know, like let me start like I'm gonna start posting on there a little bit more, but I'm gonna need some of y'all to tune in, give us a follow, give us a tea, give us a gag. But um, Jay Versace was quote tweeting a picture of like a group of models, and the tweet said, and as you can read, why do it seem like you gotta look extremely African in order to be a successful black model? I don't like that. And Black Twitter was like, "What are you talking about?" Um, I didn't even see the tweet. I didn't even see the original tweet, even though I follow Jay Versace on Twitter. What I saw was like the reactions to the tweet in which like people were making fun of it, which was like pictures that will scare Jay Versace or like me comforting Jay Versace on the way to South Africa. Like people was making fun of it, and I was like, wait, what did Jay Versace do? What did he say? And I had to do my research, as one does, and he said that. And I think that, well, I speak for everybody, which I think it's really weird that uh, he would say something like this about African models when African people and African American people are not a monolith. We are all like we don't always look alike. We all look different. We all come in different shapes and forms and looks. And for someone who is like quote unquote high profile, to come forward and say something like that, it's very weird. And he knew that because he was getting flack and he deleted the tweet. If he didn't think that, well, he probably still believes it, but some people would stay 10 toes down with what they would say, but he did not. And I think that that's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. Do I think that this going to impact Jay Versace, long term? Like, is he going to like stop getting bookings? Are people going to stop taking this calls to produce music? I don't think so. I think that he is going to be fine. Like, word to Camila Cabello, because listen, I've been making fun of Camila Cabello every day. Little Miss racial healing sessions, yeah. Like you can say some like society has shown that you can say something controversial about black people and like get away with it. I think he will be fine. Whether he apologizes for this or not, I will see. Um, but it's a weird tweet for sure. I also think it's interesting that we are in this like weird like, are we going back or are we going to hell type of thing that's going on, in which is like, because like when it comes to models, like you have like a lot of people who are like, oh, like black people, like can we get out of this like very white oriented space? Like why is it always like white people and like light skinned models and stuff going on here? And then you have tweets like this in which it's like how you gotta look, like Jay Versace saying that how you gotta look extremely African. Like I'm confused. Like what is like we on two opposite ends of this of the coin, and I don't want to pick either. Like let's go down the middle. Let's go down the alleyway because I don't want to do either of that. Like I just think that we need to start like we got to get the girls going. We got to get my black queens going and being these models and eating it up. Like how like where's our guy like we need to like bring some more of these like black girls into the frame because like these black girls be eating up the modeling game. Like a lot of these black girls be eating up this modeling game. Um, I need to find a client. I need to find a model that like can get the Alex Consani effect. Cause like I love Alex Consani, I really do. Funny lady, really incredible trailblazing trans model that we got in our generation. But I need a black woman to have that effect. Like I think that there's we gotta get a model through. I want a model through. I want to get someone through. But that's my thoughts on the Jay Versace stuff. We gonna have to move on to the Nicki Minaj stuff. Oh gosh, I'm like there's like so much. I'm like excited to get into that because I feel like if y'all let me like yap about Nicki Minaj for a good minute, we'll be here forever. And like oh like the barbs will probably clip that and be like oh he's so obsessed with Nicki. Oh he just he who want to play with Nicki. He's so obsessed with Nicki. He just want to talk about Nicki for hours. The haters are so obsessed. But no, I think that there's a lot to talk about with Nicki because she has said a lot of like things, a lot of like very dangerous and concerning things that I think people who don't like Nicki Minaj, people who used to like Nicki Minaj but have fallen out of love with Nicki Minaj, the casual fans who are kind of turning a blind eye to what she's doing or are concerned but they can't really do anything about it, and then the barbs. I think there's a lot of meat to dig into that I feel like a lot of people have not had a conversation about that I think everyone can benefit from. And I'm so glad I get to lead this conversation. I think we should have, word to Kamala Harris. I think we should have this conversation. Um, but no, like I'll ask the audience like, what do we think about? Well, do we all do? Does everyone know about what happened with Nicki Minaj? No. Okay, let's dig into it. So for those who are following, um, let me start with just going through Nicki Minaj's page. If you want to see like how I feel about Nicki Minaj, oh, you have muted posts from this account. Well, yes, because at some point, for me, actually, let me talk about like how do I personally feel about Nicki Minaj. And I've talked about this before in the podcast, but I feel like I should just give a full timeline. And obviously, just kind of discuss like where my stance on Nicki Minaj is personally. Um, I used to be. I was someone who like would have. I consider myself a Nicki Minaj fan. I used to be a Nicki Minaj fan in the past. Um, and almost to the point that um, a lot of people considered me a barb at one point. Like people thought that like I was a barb, and I was like, no, I wouldn't really consider myself a barb because I never was like a like oh Nicki and nobody else type of thing. Like I still supported a lot of the other rap girls because I think like everyone can eat. Um, and I also was raised in a household where like Nicki Minaj wasn't like the artist that was being listened to like a lot of the other female rappers of the past were being listened to, like your Queen Latifahs, your Little Kims, your Remy Ma's. They were the ones that I was hearing a lot growing up. Even like some of like Trina's, like I was hearing Trina um, growing up rather than like Nicki Minaj. Like I still heard Nicki Minaj because of the fact that like because like everyone else I was hearing in the home. But when I was out and about, I would hear Nicki Minaj because she used to be popping. Like she was someone who was popping on like She was doing the features with everybody. She had like features with Justin Bieber. Speaking of word to swag, Justin Bieber. Um, she was having collabs with like um, Cassie. She was having collabs with like a lot of the girls. Um, Even like with the recent years, with some of the recent stuff, like she was having those collabs with like Cardi B and with Megan Thee Stallion and Ice Spice. Like she was someone who even up until now, like even up until like as recently as I was willing to support her, she was still doing collabs and doing stuff that was like really, really on brand, really cutesy and really fun. Um, and then like for me, I was also someone who was like seeing how the Barbs would act. I was like, I couldn't really be that go that far, because there's a lot of like um, Nicki, like there's a lot of Barbs that will go as far as like harass people, like say some crazy things about people, and I'm just like, I'm not going to defend an artist that hard. The only person I'm going to defend that hard is me personally. Like I'm gonna go hard in the paint for me, but I will never do that for an artist that I don't know. Um, and like as long as they don't put no money in my pockets, like I'm not gonna go that hard and pay for nobody. And that's just how I've always been. But I supported Nicki Minaj up until it's been like it's very recent. I stopped supporting her with the release of Pink Friday too. Um, but the reason why I stopped supporting Nicki um, was, for starters, the big thing that like made me switch up and made me be like, I don't think I could really support you no more, sister, was how she was treating Megan Thee Stallion. She was doing like the weird like the weird sneak disses on like tracks like don't nobody want to hear that weak hoe. Um what was that one? You crying in the interview type things, like making these very like pointed sneak disses that were related to the situation that Megan had with Tori, which I don't need to go into detail, because when Megan wants to move away from it, I think she deserves to move away from it. She suffered a very traumatic situation, like she literally experienced violence, and I think the fact that like everyone wants to like keep bringing it back and bring her back into that trauma is insane to me. But the way that Nicki was handling it was very odd. The way that she was like making those disses um, towards her, making those like weird tweets, kind of what you're seeing on my screen right now, of like with the Chucky stuff, and like making kind of like very odd posts. Um, it was always very odd to me. And as it started getting like more and more frequent, it was like, okay, like you're kind of being strange, and I don't think I don't want to co-sign that, because I feel like a lot of people, because of the fact that like I like Nicki Minaj and was frequently listening to her, I think again people were conflating me with a Barb, and a lot of people thought that I was willing to co-sign some of that behavior that Nicki was engaging with, which I would never do. Word to that lady when Dua Lipa was like, "Can you look at the camera and say I'm the greatest pop star of our time?" I would never do that. Like I would never do that. Um, so I thought the stuff that she was doing with Megan Thee Stallion was weird. I think when Megan dropped Cobra and she was like tweeting like laughing tears, like laughing like as soon as the song dropped, as soon as the music video dropped, was like all I needed to know. Like you are seeing this woman like basically crying out for help and saying like, "Hey, like I've been going through this shit," and you're like laughing about it because you trying to sun them. You think you can sun them, and you think that you're better than them. And I just think that that's really weird. I think that everyone who does not think that's weird is weird as well. But that was one of the big things that made me like pull back. The other thing, and the other big thing that made me pull back was Pink Friday 2 being awful. Like I remember when Pink Friday 2 was rolling out, I was like, I was like, you know what, like this is gonna be like the last album for me. Like I'm gonna tune in and see what the album's giving, and if it's cute, like it's cute, but and I'll probably like listen to her in the background. But if it's bad, I'm not gonna support her ever again. Like it's done. And I listened to that album, and that was when I tell you guys, that was the first album in a long time where that made me like physically angry. That was an awful album. I don't know why people want to pretend that that's not a bad album, but Pink Friday 2 is. hands down one of Nicki's worst albums ever. Like it's so chaotic and very lazy because like Nicki fans pride themselves about Nicki's pen. Nicki prides herself about the pen. She be saying, "Oh, if Nicki spit it, Nicki wrote it." But I'm listening to the music and I'm like, I'm concerned because like you wrote this, like it is not a good body of work. Is she showed in that album that she was like regressing. She didn't know what she really wanted to do. She was kind of bouncing between wanting to do like a harder rap sound and having to do this like pop rap, this melodic rap. And the melodic rap, a lot of cases sounded like some of it was like fun, but some of it wasn't really pushing the pen, pushing the boundaries of like what she can do. It just seems like she wrote this just to like have it on the album, just so like those fans who like the pop sounding rap music can eat. And then the harder rap that she, you can tell that she clearly wants to do because she wants to be treated as a rapper and she sees herself as a rapper. It's not good. And it's not doing that much numbers. So I was confused by that. And I listened to that album. I was like, Jesus, that's awful. And I was like, you know what? Like, we can do a clean break. It's good. We're done. And that's how I feel about Nicki Minaj. Going forward, like, I'm glad that I've like taken that step back and like pulled away from her because I think that one that's kind of like allowed me to like reassess like parasocial relationships and see like because you get to see that in action with the barbs and be like, oh, I'm glad that that's not me. Um, and then you also have like you just see like Nicki going through the spiral and like seeing it from afar and being able to like spectate on it. I've been able to comment on some of these things before, like on the podcast before, but not in this way. Um, hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Okay, we should be good. So, let's talk about the tea with Nicki. Who wanna play with Nicki? No one, it seems, because Nicki has been tweeting nonstop since like July 7th. And it's been at first it started with tweets like this, like, oh, like Spotify charts looking scary. It was all good just a week ago. And then it would be tweets like this in which it was talking about it's DJ Academics who um the one who like was really big in like glazing Drake when the Drake and Kendrick stuff was going on and is one of DoorDash's big moneymakers. He tweeted that like a judge has denied. He reposted an article talking about how um, Rock Nation has and Megan Thee Stallion were denied from um, dismissing a lawsuit of the the case that's going on with the cameraman. I'm blanking on his name, but it's the cameraman who claims that he was in a um, toxic work environment, working with Megan Thee Stallion. And one of the situations that was involved was allegedly um, Megan engaging in relations with another woman in a car in Ibiza. And the judge like declared the motion that it can move forward and denied that denied the case being dismissed. And Nicki hopped on and directly responded to saying like, "Oh no, what was that law again?" and had a laughing emoji. It's not gonna load because I have the like acceleration thing disabled because it was giving me issues on this Mac because I'm streaming on my Mac, y'all. Um, and after that, she was just kind of tweeting about Jay Z, and then starts going into like Jay Z and Megan Thee Stallion, and she was making jokes about Megan Thee Stallion making fun of the Megan's Law line, which, for context, the Megan's Law line came from Megan's diss track Hiss, which really like broke a nerve with Megan Thee Stallion. Well, let me rephrase that. it broke a nerve with Nicki Minaj, and it broke barriers for Megan Thee Stallion because of the fact that like it was the number one hit for Megan, and Nicki was doing rants on Instagram Live in like a roach infested um, bedroom or bathroom, being like, frack me foot," like she was doing that type of stuff. And she's to this day is mentioning this line. Um, and she's digging into like Jay Z. She's mentioning Jay Z so much, and basically the reason she's mentioning Jay Z is, and this goes way back. One, she's mentioning him because of the fact that she has kind of taken on the Lil Wayne, Young Money beef that is ensued between um, Lil Wayne and Kendrick and Rock Nation slash Jay Z. Jay Z and Rock Nation are essentially the same thing because one, Jay Z owns Rock Nation and is very affiliated with Rock Nation, and two, the way that everyone refers to Rock Nation, it seems to be like the Illuminati at this point, and Jay Z running it. And basically, basically, the situation that was like going on is that like Lil Wayne was upset that Kendrick headlined the Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans, and he was like, "Why couldn't I do it?" And he's been performing and showing us like what a Super Bowl with Lil Wayne would have looked like, and God, I'm glad we did not get that because that would have been awful. He was not gonna give us nothing. Um, it was gonna be uglier than Caitlyn Jenner. Like it was gonna be a rough Super Bowl halftime show if we got the Lil Wayne one. But Lil Wayne has been getting Drake and Nicki on this crusade against the NFL and against Rock Nation for snubbing them from performing because obviously we know if Lil Wayne was going to perform, he was going to bring out Drake and probably Nicki Minaj as well. Um, and I think it's really strange. Well, because like Nicki did this NFL and Rock Nation on one of the remixes for Lil Wayne's most recent album that nobody liked, the one with the elephant song. What up, though? All my cutthroat, like it's that song. That's where that remix is from the album, the elephants and whatever song. Um, and she like has done that. She's done the tweets talking about how Rock Nation needs to step out of the NFL and all these types of things. So there's that, but there's also the fact that Nicki Minaj came forward recently out of nowhere and has alleged that Jay Z owes her some money because about $100 to $200 million worth of money. She is claiming that because of the contract that she signed with Jay Z for Tidal, which for those who don't remember, Tidal is or was the music streaming service that Jay Z owned for like a brief period of time in like 2012, 2015, where and when they relaunched Tidal and it was under Jay Z's ownership, it was supposed to be this really big thing where essentially Jay Z was gonna like bring streaming back to artists and how streaming was gonna be this music streaming was gonna be back in the hands of artists because it was back during that early time of music streaming where it was starting to kind of break waves and people were starting to like move towards music streaming compared to like buying CDs and buying vinyls and all that type of stuff. Vinyl didn't make its resurgence just yet in that moment. Um, but artists were worried about streaming taking over because they wouldn't earn as much from streaming as they would from like a CD purchase or a vinyl purchase and that type of stuff or like music downloads. And they were panicking, and then Tidal came forward and promised, hey, we're gonna like we're launching a streaming service, we're bringing all these artists involved from Jigga, yeah, yeah, or whatever she be doing. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj was involved as well, bringing all these artists together and launching this service that was going to bring power back to the artist. And Jay-Z really wanted this to be this really big thing. And Nicki Minaj was involved, like a lot of the other girls was involved. Um, but basically, Nicki is suggesting that one, Jay Z leaked the Pink Print album like a week before it was supposed to come out and was suggesting that he did that because he wanted the exclusive rights to it for Tidal, which one isn't true because at the time that the Pink Print came out and was leaked, Tidal was not under Jay Z's ownership at that time, so it couldn't have happened. And two, um, it would be kind of odd for another artist to leak another artist project like that. Like, how does Jay Z have that access? Um, but it seems to just be the part of this thing that people are doing with Jay Z and Rock Nation, in which Jay Z and Rock Nation are supposed to be like this really big, like all seeing eye type thing, and that's really not the case. Um, but you have that. You have her suggesting that because of the contract that she signed with Jay Z, she is supposed to get like up to upwards of $200 million from Jay from the um, sale of Tidal, or like a portion of Tidal, over to Jack Dorsey's Black company, the like conglomerate that owns like Square and the different other companies within that. And Nicki, that's not how it works. Like, and I also just think it's odd that she's bringing it up now as part of this like weird obsession that she has with Rock Nation, which I know why she's obsessed with Rock Nation. I'm gonna dig into it, but the weird obsession that she has with Rock Nation, because if it really was true that this, like, she was losing money on the table in this way, she would have sued him like out the gate when that announcement for that sale of Tidal was happening. Like, I feel like a lot more artists would have sued Jay Z and Tidal for money if like the contracts were leaving that on the table, or if they had a cut of that. But Nicki doesn't have a cut of that, and that's why Nicki's not going to the courts talking about the situation, or like trying to get this money. Like, she's talking about it on the court of Twitter. Circling back to what I meant with um, the thing about her being obsessed with Rock Nation. It's very obvious why she's obsessed with Rock Nation. It's not because of Jay, and it's not like, even though I mentioned this, like she being a part of the crusade of, you know, Lil Wayne and Young Money versus Kendrick and Rock Nation. She's a part of that, but that's not the core reason as to why she is obsessed with Jay Z and tweeting about Jay like this and wanting to get back at Jay, because apparently Jay owes her some money. Um, she is getting at Rock Nation and Jay Z because of the fact that Megan Thee Stallion has a management deal with Rock Nation, and Nicki has said in the past that she was offered like a similar arrangement in the past, or like a deal with Rock Nation, but she turned it down because the deal wasn't cute, according to her. But she's upset because of the fact that Megan has signed with Rock Nation, and she believes that a lot of the push and a lot of the clout that she's gotten from Rock Nation, that a lot of the like she's thinking that a lot of the push and the stuff that she's been getting is a result of Rock Nation. But I think it's a mix of Rock Nation and the fact that like people generally like love Megan Thee Stallion. Like, Megan Thee Stallion is a very likable person and a very sellable brand to tap into. Nicki doesn't really have that right now, and I'm gonna dig into why. But she is going into this like tirade about Rock Nation on Twitter, and it's not about Jay Z, it's not about Rock Nation, it's really about Megan Thee Stallion, but she isn't digging into that. Um, and then also, she has been like, you see this tweet here, love, it didn't go the way they intended. Every time you try to get the attention on me for your financial gain, it'll go back into things you don't want it on. Oh, and there's a lot more. Trust, it's all fun and games until I want to play too. Cake or Twitch. And the majority of people voted for Twitch. And oh, somebody at the door. I'll be right back, chat. Okay, I'm back. Um, but no, she was talking about Twitter Kick, and she recently was caught on stream calling Aiden Ross, which, if you know Aiden Ross is one of those certified losers on Kick who hates women and is doing that whole like grifting thing. Um, and yeah, okay, I'm back again. um, but basically, what I was meaning to talk about here was the situation. Okay, no, I was talking about Edith Ross. Yes, that's what I was talking about. The situation that was involving that, like, she is grifting towards conservatives as well, and it's all kind of this weird thing that's going on. She has been like inciting. She's trying to incite black people, like in this tweet here. She's talking about, what is this true? I'm learning so much about my rights. She's talking about like Desiree Perez, who is the current CEO of Rock Nation, an Hispanic woman. Nicki Minaj is like, oh, like, isn't this the lady being accused by her daughter of being racist against black people? Jay Z, there was no black woman. Was there? There was no black woman smart enough to be the CEO. Her like posing this question. Nicki does this all the time, in which she's inciting. Um, she incites like black women and incites the black card to like be used, even though she has stood in allegiance with conservatism with white people. Like when Megan did his, and for some weird reason, what's his face? Ben Shapiro was doing that weird song with I think Joyner Lucas or whoever that white man was, um, and it was hitting the charts for some weird reason. Nicki was pushing the Ben Shapiro song and talking about the Ben Shapiro show to try to like block Megan from getting the number one. Didn't happen because Megan still got the number one, but I think it's really odd that she is willing to associate with conservatives. And then it's like on the other hand, she's doing stuff like this to like incite black women to like support her and be on her card, which is very odd because you've never been there for black women like that. Like George Bush don't care about black people. No, Nicki Minaj don't care about black people. And then what was that one thing? She did post a tweet about this one right here. I can't say it out loud because it's gonna get me in trouble. But um, with the like Twitch and stuff like that. But she was talking about the COVID vaccine situation that she had in which she was spreading misinformation, and she straight up mentioned Democrats in a negative way. Um, in this moment. So she basically confirmed that she is conservative. There's a lot going on here. And there's like these Chucky posts and these Chucky gifts, and she's tweeting about the shoes. She's like all these, and she's reposting stuff from like the lady who's getting sued by Cardi B, Tasha K, all this type of stuff. Like it's very. She's making a kick account, um, allegedly, and all these different things that's going on. But it's kind of interesting that we're at this point of we're in this point of order for Nicki Minaj because I want to talk about why I think Nicki Minaj is in this state of psychosis. And I don't want to use the word psychosis lightly, but I think that I was talking about this privately with one of my friends, but I think it was interesting that we are all witness to Nicki Minaj's like active psychosis, and no one can do anything about it. Like legitimately, no one. Like we all just kind of sitting watching because like if you're a fan or if you're someone who is legitimately is concerned, like you can't really do anything to help her because that's a celebrity and you're just an individual. Like you don't know her, so you can't like do anything for her. And even if you were like a Barb that had like clout to like reach out to her and stuff like that. She's not gonna listen to you. And then she clearly does not have anyone close to her that is gonna be like, hey, you need to cut this out because this is kind of weird. You have like, because she doesn't really have too many friends. Like she's not really out with nobody like that for real. Like she just be in the house until she pops out every now and then. Like she, the people have only really seen her recently with like the Met Gala stuff. So and it's been eons since people really seen her since like that tour that she was doing. So I think it's really interesting to me that she is in this like state of she's in this state of this like situation where like you can tell that like she is like she's not well. Like the things that have made me like realize that she's not well is one these like string of tweets is like the most recent thing. But what like first made me realize like oh like something is off and she needs help and she can't get it is where she's like choosing not to get it. Is first it was the Hiss situation with Megan Thee Stallion, where as soon as Hiss came out and that Megan's Law Bar was being reposted, um, originally that was allegedly about Drake, but Nicki caught it because she's dating Kenneth Petty, who is, you know, a known, and the situation that was involved with that um, was she was tweeting all day night, 17 days, 17 nights about Megan Thee Stallion. She was talking about Megan Thee Stallion's late mom. She was talking about she hopped on that live stream on Instagram Live where she wasn't showing herself in the camera, but she was in like she was showing like that weird background of what I think is like her bedroom, and there was the roaches on the floor, and she was like lying on your dick, like lying on your mouth, like that type of thing. Um, the like fragment foot thing. Like, and then she tried Bigfoot, and Bigfoot flopped because it was an awful song. Like, it's those kind of situations that occurred with the situation that made that his situation that back and forth that made me concerned. Like that weird video where she's just kind of like angry, losing her mind, and going insane over this one bar that really wasn't about you, but you like took it because you've been waiting for this woman to say something about you because you've been saying stuff about her and she hasn't been responding and she's been paying you dust. And the fact that Megan said nothing after that, except like made fun of her on one of the lives on her own live stream was like, um, what did she say? She was referencing that I'm blanking on it. Oh wow. But that was point number one. Point number two that made me like concerned for her, or like made me realize that she is in a state of psychosis, was that weird period I think last year when people were thinking that her and Kenneth were on a off an off pattern, like her and Kenneth would separate for a little bit because she was tweeting concerning tweets. She was like, "Oh, it's done, it's over." So you just ended up like, and a lot of people were thinking that her and Kenneth were splitting off and they were done, and people were celebrating because it was like, oh, like even so the bar was celebrating because people don't like Kenneth Petty for obvious reasons, like check what he's done. Um, and she hopped on like a live stream or like some sort of video and she had her like pink bonnet on and she's like crying. You tell that she's like very like upset over something. To this day we don't know what it was about, but she's like looking at the camera and she's like, they're yelling push. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but like it is interesting that that situation happened, and we don't know what is like if that was resolved or what happened with that. Um, but I think that, and let's look up the definition of psychosis to make sure that like we all are on the same page. No, I'm not asking for the AI. A mental disorder characterized by a disconnection from reality, psychosis may occur as a result of psychiatric illness like schizophrenia. In other instances, it may be caused by a health condition, medications, or drug use. Possible symptoms include delusions, hallucinations, talking incoherently, and agitation. The person with the condition usually is not aware of his or her behavior. Treatment may include medication and talk therapy. Obviously, I am not a medical professional, so like take what I'm saying with a grain of salt because I don't know this woman first of all, but I also can't like medically diagnose her with psychosis. But I feel like what she is in her, what she's been doing is showing signs of psychosis, and I think we got to figure that out because like the fact that she's going on these rants like several times the whole day and it's like for hours on end, and it's about people that like realistically haven't really done to anything to her directly. um like it's just like her upset that she is like in this state of like financial wellness or whatever, and that her like her peak is up, her time is up. What Megan said on Boa, be your time is up, like it's over. Um, but the fact that she's like consistently going hard at Jay Z, she clearly wants to get at Beyonce, but doesn't want to say Beyonce because she knows that if she says Beyonce's name, Beehive's gonna be in the DMs fighting her. She gonna have Beyonce on the phone. The Knowles Carter family's gonna be on her phone, and she's gonna be done. Like we want to talk about someone being for real over. If she incites the Beehive, it's done with. Like she's like it's over, because in the court of public opinion, Beyonce's clout is a lot larger than Nicki's clout, and that's something that she does not like. The fact that Nicki isn't like, let's look at where Nicki is at right now. Allegedly, because I don't want no lawsuits, but allegedly, according to some of these documents that people are pulling up, Nicki Minaj has like her entire performance and like her music earnings have liens on it. Like some of these filings are suggesting that Onika Minaj, you know, full name Onika Tanya Marash Petty, like they're using the full government name. They have the file numbers and everything. They are suggesting that like, you know, songs as that date as far as like Say So remix with Doja Cat, like Super Bass, you know, any royalties and stuff that she got from April 1st, 2020 until then are getting liens and they're being paid out to these different banks. Um, and like loaners. Like she is in debt allegedly. Like the like there's data that's showing that like these songs are like going to be pulled, and like the money that she would earn from these songs, either from these songs or from producing these songs, like or performing these songs, are going to these loaners, like the company, these people that she owes money to, and you know, she's not really seeing that. And then you see her on like TikTok live promoting Pink Friday nails and you know the Pink Friday, uh, what was it, the perfume and all that type of stuff. She's been going on tour doing the extended legs of tour because she needs to pay. She needs to pay this off, and she needs the money. And it's the fact that like the Nicki Minaj name is not where it was in the past, because there was a moment where Nicki Minaj was everywhere and was beloved by everyone, like 2010s type of vibe. Like she was like pop rap royalty. Like the girls was loving her, the girls was wanting to collaborate with her. You know, she was winning the rap beefs. I feel like we're in this era now where the rap beefs that she has been in recently with like Cardi B, with Megan Thee Stallion, with Lotto, with even with like Ice Spice and JT for an even lesser extent. These are beefs that she either did not win, or it was too close to call, or there wasn't, or like too hard to determine. Like you had the Cardi B beef, which didn't go anywhere after the shoe situation. Like they just kind of kept talking about each other to their fans, and nothing else really came from it. Um, none of them really directly talked to each other and like inside the beef anymore. So it's kind of it's kind of like long ways gone, long ways done. They just kind of talk in their separate corners type of thing. With the Megan Thee Stallion beef, by like all measures, Megan won the beef, even though like Megan won because his did very well, and the diss track that Nicki put out was not up to snuff. Nobody liked it. Even the Barbs were trying very hard to pretend that they liked it. They were like, "Oh, you need to listen to like the acapella version, or like listen to this version." When all his had was that, like, his issued some other versions to try to push the charts, but the people were listening to the main version, and people were saying that the lyrics was he as is. Um, and even then, like, Megan doesn't really respond to Nicki like that. She doesn't really like mention Nicki like that. She mentioned she did the Megan's online. Nicki caught it, and that's all that happened. Like, Nicki lost that. Um, and the fact that like even with like the JT and like the Ice Spice stuff, in which she like JT and Ice Spice were both like really hard supporters of Nicki, and Nicki switched up for a variety of reasons, whether it was the tweets that came, like not tweets, the text messages that leaked when Ice Spice was looking back fairly just kind of upset with how Nicki was moving during the like Barbie World and like Princess Diana and remix era, and was just venting to a former friend. And Nicki took it a little bit far. And then JT like releasing her solo mixtape. Um, and Nicki just immediately switching up when that came out, even though JT has been there since day one being a hardcore bar. So, oh, it's raining hard outside my house, y'all. It's kind of crazy out here. But yeah, it's been given that like she is in this like moment in which like the numbers aren't numbering like they used to. Like Pink Friday took a little bit to like get to number one. Like it hit number one compared to like Queen because the Barb's wanted it to hit number one instead of being snubbed. But it fell off the charts. Like people don't talk about Pink Friday like that anymore. People talk about it more than Queen because nobody liked Queen. But only the Barb's really talk about Pink Friday too. There wasn't much longevity with that album compared to her previous works. Um, but you have this woman. Ooh, one thing I wanted to mention: the documentary. Remember that documentary that Nicki Minaj was supposed to have come out on HBO Max, and how that never came out, and then she released the trailer, and it was just by the producers. So here's what I think would happen with that, because I do want to talk about that. So with the documentary, because originally that's supposed to be a launch title, that's supposed to be one of the 1 year like launch titles that HBO Max was gonna have. I think when they announced that, they thought that they were gonna have more time from Nicki with like a Queen album with a Queen era, and when Nicki was like, "We're taking a like," or that like she was gonna firmly be in retirement, and the moment that Nicki was like, "You know what? Like I'm out of retirement. Like I'm ready to tell these sons who like that they really sons." And she was doing the false start singles with the hard rap that like her fans wasn't liking, and then you had the um the actual Pink Friday rollout, which didn't have too many music videos, didn't have too many performances outside the VMAs, didn't have too many interviews outside of like Vogue, no visuals, nothing like that outside the AI, the Gag City stuff. Like you have that type of thing that's going on. Like I think that HBO saw that and was like, this documentary, it doesn't have much value to us anymore because now you're moving on to this other era, and it's clear that like you don't really care about Queen because nobody else really cared about Queen. So like now we don't want to release this anymore. Like it wasn't like a Lizzo documentary where like it was fairly generic, open ended, and you could watch that Lizzo documentary like in any era and be fine. And it also wasn't take, and it was also like during the up and up for Lizzo before like the lawsuit and like her comeback stuff was going on. And it's not like a concert film. Like you're not seeing Nicki really perform. Like you're seeing some behind the scenes of the tour, but it was supposed to be like behind the scenes of the making of Queen, from what I could gather. and it just wasn't going to be a good push for Nicki or for HBO Max because people were going to probably tune into that, and or like people weren't. I don't think people were really going to tune into that. Like I don't think people would want to see a documentary behind the making of Queen. Like people probably would tune in to see like her perspective on like some of the drama and stuff that culminated within the Queen rollout. But I don't think people particularly care about the Queen album and the fact that she was already on to the next thing. HBO was on the next thing. They was just like, okay, the producers can have this back, and the production company behind the documentary was Braun Media, which was a Canadian production company and financier. There were they had a production company that was involved in the like financing of Euphoria for HBO, like pretty prestigious. They up to the time they were a pretty like interesting financier and production company. They don't exist anymore. They went bankrupt and closed down, and they actually had a lawsuit based on like some like financing fraud that they had. So who knows what's going to happen with this film because it does not have a distributor anymore. Doesn't have the production company that made it doesn't exist anymore. Does it just go to their creditors? Does it go back to Nicki? Nicki has not commented on the documentary at all since. I don't think the documentary is coming out because why would anyone watch it now? But there's a lot like there's a lot of like value that she wished that and a lot of clout and movement that she wished that she had that she doesn't really have anymore. And she's turning around and she's seeing these other girls have motion, and it's like, why am I not getting that no more? Like Megan Thee Stallion has been the target conversation for a minute, good, bad, in between. She dominates the conversations, even with whenever when like people were acting like they didn't like whenever. I thought whenever was whatever was a fine song. Um, People were talking about like, oh, like is Megan Thee Stallion done? Like, why doesn't Megan Thee Stallion rap like this, that, and the third? Like Megan was dominating conversations, whether you liked it or not. With his, like she dominated the conversation. With the release of the album, the self-titled album, which is one of my favorite albums from her personally. Um, Still to this day be streaming that album. She like has dominated the conversation, even with like Barb's. Like people will come in and be like, "Oh, like why? Like, are you trying? Like, is this a good like?" She the album debuted number 3, and they was like, "Oh, like that's it." But even though it's within the top 10 of Billboard, but um, you have like again, you have this girl who has an independent record deal. She owns her masters and her records, and has an independent management deal that's giving her a lot of motion and making a lot of movement. On top of the fact that she's very likable, and Nicki doesn't have that. You have Cardi B, who for 7 years has not released a second album, and this year she's releasing that second album. It's long awaited, long anticipated. People are streaming the new song. You know, the songs that she added from several years ago, WAP and Up, they're getting streams again. People are tuning in. As much as people were like, oh, like, why is she putting these old songs on here? SZA did it. It's fine. People have done it before in the past. It's okay. Y'all live. Um, but the fact that like she coming back here, she doing performances. The girls like the motion, and Nicki couldn't do that. Nicki couldn't get like Barb's are like Nicki can get away with that, and Nicki knows that she probably wouldn't be able to get away with that because it wouldn't work the same. Um, that sends her to a spiral, and I think that there is some use of a libation or something like that. Something that might be a powder. I think something's involved there. I think that that's what is leading her into this state of psychosis. I think that that is what's causing it. But again, she's in this area where like she doesn't really have friends around her because her friend like she cut off a lot of people who could have been her friends, her family and stuff, and the people that she keeps close to her are really just using her for money because it's Nicki Minaj, and you're like that's the richest person in their circles. Kenneth has used her. Her family has used her name for cloud and stuff like that as well. Like she has a lot to lose, and that is destroying her. and I feel like she needs to get some help out of that, and no one is stepping aside and saying, "Hey, this like it's okay to not be okay. Like this is what's going on. You should get some help because what you're saying what's going on is concerning." Wow, what a long gap. We're at an hour 14. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, that was kind of my like thoughts on Nicki and what's been going on. I don't think she's gonna change. I don't think she's gonna get like no one's gonna like pull her aside and get help. No one's gonna send her these clips in good faith either and be like, oh, like you should get some help. People are probably going, if anything, people are gonna cut these clips and be like, oh, so y'all see what he's like talking about, and I'm gonna get blocked by Nicki. Oh well. But that's what I think about Nicki. I think she needs help. I think that she's not in a good place financially, and I think that she is gonna be struggling if this keeps up. I mean, until 2029 with these liens, that's kind of crazy. Um, but what can you do really with someone who has like, it's just me and I, it's just me and I, me, myself, and I, as Beyonce would say. Ooh, you know. Um, but that's my thoughts on it. My ramble. Um, is there anything that the girls want me to talk about in terms of pop culture news that I've not talked about here? Because if you're late to the stream, I talked about Tyler's new song. I talked about the Clips album a little bit. I talked about Jay Versace's tweet. I talked about Justin Bieber's album. I talked about Nicki Minaj. Is there anything else that y'all want me to discuss? Oh, quick plug here. I talked about Big Brother season 27, the season premiere. Yes, well, earlier today on the YouTube channel. If you want to tune into that, it is out now. Um, I hopped on the podcast with my friend Aiden. We both had a really fun time. And I would love to do those streams a little bit. Well, I would love to do those recaps a little bit more going forward. I'm probably going to do them as streams just because of the length, maybe yapping. Um, but definitely check that out if you like Big Brother or you just want to hear me and someone else, kick it on the podcast. But that was what's going on. I'm not really seeing too many people ask if they like have any suggestions for pop culture, so I'm gonna wrap the stream up here. And yeah, but no, like I had a great time doing the stream. It was a fun little stream. I had a good time, doing like hot topics type things. Um, Let me know what y'all thought about the stream. Let me know what y'all thought about my thoughts on these different topics here. Again, if you liked what you saw, liked what you heard, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, follow the accounts wherever you're tuning into this from. And yeah, oh, this will also, the VOD for this will also be available on podcast platforms too, eventually. I'm going to get this up as soon as possible so everyone can tune into this wherever they can. But yeah, it's been fun. Thank you guys for joining the streams. I'm looking forward to do more of this soon. I would like to do this on like a weekly basis. Um, because like pop culture moves, I do the podcast, of course, and sometimes there's topics that like I don't want to talk about in like a general episode of the podcast that might make sense with a live stream, or there's just like a hot topic that like comes and goes that I would miss if I did, a traditional episode for it. So I would love to do a little bit more of these office hours more if you guys will let me. I will again. Thank you guys for tuning in, and yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.